You know how the rest of the country looks at Florida? Well, that's how New York looks at Staten Island.
My wife lived in Staten Island. It's an awful place. Everyone who's ever been there knows it. Yuck to Staten Island.
He's not wrong. Alright, welcome to Tait's Take. If you're new here, this is my weekly movie review channel. Basically, I let you know if I think the newest releases are worth checking out or not. If that's something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for your boy. To my regular Tait's Takers, I spent another 20 bucks for y'all. Let's see if it was worth it. The King of Staten Island is a film directed by the famous Judd Apatow. He's most well known for the 5 movies he directed before this one. First, we got the 40-year-old virgin. That's a 5-star classic. Then we got Knocked Up. Not 5 stars, but I always liked that movie. Then we got Funny People. That was really slept on. That was when Adam Sandler was a stand-up comedian that had cancer. It's heavy. Then we got This Is 40. I gotta revisit that, but I know it's not better than Knocked Up. Finally, we got Trainwreck. I'm just not a huge Amy Schumer fan. Plus, you got LeBron James all up in it. Anyway, this movie stars Pete Davidson, Abby, Marissa Tomei, hey auntie. We got Bill Burr, famous comedian. Got Maud Apatow, who's actually Judd Apatow's daughter. And we got Belle Powley. And quick side note on Belle. If you guys watch this, you'll notice everyone's super thick Staten Island accent, especially hers. Come to find out, she's actually British.
So you would say like talk, and I, in English accent, say talk, and New York, and Staten Island, you'd say talk. So it's actually like, that for me is like quite good. And it's also about like softening like the D's and the T's. So if you were saying don't talk to me like that, I say like don't, like very pointed. You'd be like don't, like it sounds like kind of like a J or something. Like don't talk to me like that. It's like very splashy.
How do they do our accent so much better than we do theirs? It's not fair. See, it's trash. It's not fair. It's not fair. Anyway, plot time. The King of Staten Island is a story that revolves around Pete Davidson's character Scott Carlin. He's a high school dropout that lives at home with his mom and his sister in Staten Island. Avi. His dad was a firefighter that died 17 years back. That left Scott in a less than ideal mental health space. Plus he does a lot of drugs. And he has Crohn's disease, battles with depression, ADHD, you get the point here. He has no real ambitions in life besides being a tattoo artist and opening up a tattoo restaurant. I guess where you can eat and also get tattoos. He wants to call it Ruby Tattoos Days, which it is catchy. His little sister is heading off to college, so it'll soon just be Scott and his mom left at home. Scott's mom, who's played by Marissa Tomei, aka the new Aunt May in Spider-Man, hasn't dated anyone in the 17 years since her husband died. Until now, that is, when she meets a nice man named Ray. But Scott does everything in his power to try to sabotage it, mainly because Ray's also a fireman. You can see where this is going here. We're watching Scott trying to figure out how he can keep his mom away from this dude, because he thinks it's irresponsible for her to be dating someone in this dangerous line of work again, while at the same time trying to figure out what he's doing with his own life. And we got a movie. So what's my take? I will say, I see what's happening here, and I respect what's happening here. There's a lot to be said about making a movie that depicts how a family deals with tragedy. You probably heard that this movie was loosely based on Pete Davidson's life, and that's true. Pete's dad was a firefighter that died in 9/11 trying to save people from a nearby hotel. In the movie, they made the conscious decision not to make the death 9/11 related to avoid having that be the focal point of the movie. What was also interesting for me to learn was that Pete's parents got divorced 6 months before 9/11. Imagine being 7 years old, just starting to cope with the fact that your dad's not going to be around the house as much anymore, to never being able to see him again. Yeah, that shit is heavy. So Pete gets to make a movie like this as a form of therapy. I think the movie is good, not great. And if you're not a Pete Davidson fan, you probably won't love it. The obvious reason being that this is him essentially playing himself.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
It's also very similar to the role he played in the new Hulu release, Big Time Adolescence. We just haven't seen Pete step out of that niche yet, so if you're familiar with his work, you kind of know what you're going to get here. The runtime on this movie is longer than it has to be, and some of the plot lines are completely useless. But I will say it was well acted. I mean, Pete was playing himself, so yes, you were a great you. Beyond that, Bill Burr was great, playing a serious character but also very funny. Marissa was great as the mom. Maud was great. She executed that little sister role perfectly, where she was the little sister but had to actually be the big sister to help her mom out with Scott. All of Scott's friends did well. Super believable watching this cast of basically misfits trying to make the best out of Staten Island. Good luck. You can't go into this movie expecting a comedy. This is not 40-Year-Old Virgin. Yes, there's some funny dialogue, but this is more of a drama with funny moments than it is a comedy covering serious topics. It's essentially a view of what Pete Davidson thinks his life would be like if he didn't find stand-up. He said it saved his life. He was doing stand-up in New York City, and Amy Schumer was in that same circle of comics, but she was further along in her career, working on the movie Trainwreck with Judd. And Judd is big on discovering talent, so they're working on the movie, and he asks Amy, like, so who's the upcoming comic? And she goes like, oh, OMG, it's Pete. He's only 19, but he's great. Judd says fuck it and gives him a small part on Trainwreck. Pete Davidson's on the set of Trainwreck for a whole 12 minutes and meets Bill Hader. The next day, Bill Hader co-signs him to Lauren, who works for Saturday Night Live. You see where I'm going here? Let that be a lesson to you all. Work hard, be nice to people, because you never know who's out there endorsing you. I'm giving y'all the game for free, but you know it's not free? This movie. So is it worth the 20 bucks? I'm gonna give The King of Staten Island 3.5 stars. And I'm gonna tell you how I got to that math. It's a good movie. A little long, but also not a universally good movie where I feel like it will touch everybody the same way. That's 3. However, if you're a fan of Judd Apatow as a director and you like Pete Davidson as a comedian, you'll probably like watching the Davidson story unfold with a serious tone and some funny lines. That's 4. So you crunch the numbers, carry the 1, and you got 3.5. In my opinion, Pete's real life story is just more inspiring. And not just because he actually made it, but because he actually had a passion and worked hard towards it. Pete said that what he wants people to take away from his life is that in whatever mental health battles you're going through, look at what you can still accomplish. However, in the movie, I just don't feel like Scott ever got to that point of breaking out of that Arrested Development phase. Personally, I just hate to watch people on screen acting this way. Sitting on your mom's couch every day, smoking weed, watching SpongeBob, like not even trying to make something of yourself. Meanwhile, you got countless people in your corner telling you that they can see the potential in you that you can't even see in yourself. It's exhausting. But still, I do think this movie is worth the 20 bucks. Just don't go into it expecting some stoner flick where you're gonna get these, do you know how I know you're gay jokes. Hate him or love him, Pete Davidson always being open and honest about his life and his challenges is noble. There's a lot of people that need to hear these stories. He often talks about Kid Cudi literally saving his life, because it wasn't until then did he ever hear someone using their art to talk about mental health. He found comfort in knowing that his hero was going through the same stuff that he was. Maybe the King of Staten Island could be that same escape for someone else now. I respect it. As always, thanks for checking out Tait's Take. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, hit that like and that subscribe button. Really helps me out. Also, in the comments, I need to know if y'all are Pete Davidson fans. Also, I want to know your favorite Judd Apatow movie, because I'm going 40-Year-Old Virgin. Peace, y'all. Thanks.